Now, my name is Atunde. Today I'll be explaining Native, Knative, Kubernetes Native event. You can think of event as a system that allows you to run your function based on an input from a kind of like event. You can think of it the same way you think of AWS Lambda. An event occurs and it delivers certain information to a point to a function and trigger that function. That is what a Knative event does. It grabs events from what we call sources and delivers those events to your function, right? To your native function in the serving. Now, what are the components that make it this pipeline, this event pipeline, from the sources to the destination, which is your function. Now, some of the components that you can think of, first of all, this is an architecture. The first one I'm going to try to explain is the sources. You can think of the sources as the source of event. For example, it could be the event in the Kubernetes cluster, right? You can say, okay, I want that anytime a pod is created, that particular event, right? That is a source of event. That event should trigger my function to call and do certain activity. It could be an external source, which could be like, hey, if some external system, right, has this kind of event, for example, let's say GitHub, or let's say GitHub is your source of events. If there's a push to GitHub, please and please grab that event and what trigger my function. Those are event sources. Now, each event source generates what we call event type. What is an event type? An event type is a type of event. Like, for example, you know, uh, pull request to GitHub. GitHub can be an event source. Now, the pull request can be an event type. Right. For example, well, the Kubernetes cluster itself also has different event type. Now, what is a feed? Well, I'm going to show you a feed. A feed actually, let me show you an example here. Well, where is a feed? Now, what a feed actually does is connect. Think of it that it connects an event type to a channel, right? That's a very simple way. It connects an event type to an endpoint. In this case, the endpoint is a channel. That is what a feed does. Think of it as a, how do I say this? A Twitter feed, right? It simply grabs the event that is happening and pull it and gives it to an endpoint. This endpoint, as you can see in this case, is what? Is a channel, the name of the channel that the event is going to trigger, or that the events are going to be delivered to. Now, this explains sources, the feed, the event type, the event sources. Now, what's the difference between cluster event source and just event source? Event source is namespace. Cluster event source is not namespace. Now, currently we have three supported sources. Event from the Kubernetes cluster, the GitHub event from GitHub, and also this GCP PubSub event. So you can grab different event type from these sources and put them in your native implementation. Now let's move on and talk about now bosses. You can think of bosses as you can think of them as, how do I say this? For those who are familiar with Kafka, it's very, very similar to Kafka. A boss has different, it provides ability to implement certain component. That is what a boss. You can think of a boss as something that houses other components. I'm trying to simplify this here. Now, in a boss, we have what we call channel. What is a channel? Think of a channel as a TV station, right? Now, in this channel receives different kind of events happening on that channel. Now, in that channel, you as a user can have what we call a subscription. What is a subscription? A subscription simply grabs events that happens from a channel and delivers it to a target. In this case, the target is going to be your native, your Knative app, which could be an app that receives the event and does some other extra activities. Now, BOSS allows you to implement these two components, the channel and the subscription. That is what the boss does. Now, these are the components of your the event system. Now the last thing that you need to know is what we call flow. Now, you may think of yourself, how do I have to implement? Do I have to implement event sources? I have to implement channel. I have to implement subscription. I have to do all this. I have to do all that. Do I need to do all that? No. There's a last component called flow. Flow takes care. It's an abstraction that takes care of provisioning all these middle components for you. For example, if we define a flow in this case, this is a sample flow. Where are you? Where are you? This is a sample flow, right? Now, what this flow does is it says it's event type, right? From this case, event type, right? Deliver them to this target source, and it uses this service account. I'm going to get to this in next tutorial. So what it simply does is it says if you receive event type, right? Deliver them to this target, which is our application. Now, what this flow simply does is the flow creates all the middle components. For example, your boss in this case, sorry, I said your channel, your subscription, it creates those. This is a very, very good page for you to actually um, fully understand these components. We have your feed also, your event type. It takes care of all these components that you don't have to worry about. That is what a flow does. It simply abstracts away all those miniature requirements that you ought to be worried about. That is what a flow simply does. Remember, a flow allows you to just focus on developing application and simply create all the middle components for you. Remember sources. We have sources, and also remember on the bus we have a channel that receives events. We have a subscription that takes events from the channel and deliver it to a target. So I'm just trying to give a very good overview of the components in a native event. And in the next, I'm going to be showing a tutorial about different, right, different event type or event sources that are supported. Remember, I said three of them are supported right now. I'm going to be giving a demo on all three very soon. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.